It was a gloomy Thursday afternoon in Washington, D.C. President-elect Donald Trump sat quietly inside a black SUV, dressed in all-black clothes. He was on his way to pay his respects at a close friend's funeral. His usual entourage was pared down, giving the journey a somber, almost private feel. At an intersection near the outskirts of the city, Officer Mark Hall, a diligent but overzealous cop in his late 30s, was stationed in his patrol car. Mark's sharp eyes scanned every passing vehicle. When the sleek black SUV came into view, something about its tinted windows and careful speed caught his attention. With a quick decision, Mark activated his lights and siren, pulling the vehicle over. The SUV came to a gentle halt by the roadside. Mark's boots hit the pavement with purpose as he approached. His hand rested on the hilt of his holstered gun, not uncommon, but a detail that carried weight in moments like these. He rapped on the driver's window. It rolled down to reveal a composed but slightly confused driver. "License and registration," Mark demanded, peering past the driver to see the man in the back seat. His gaze lingered for a moment. The driver, Samuel, a calm and collected professional, complied without hesitation. "May I ask why we've been pulled over, officer?" Mark's tone grew sharper. "Your vehicle matches the description of one reported in a robbery nearby. Step out of the car, all of you." Before Samuel could respond, the back door swung open and Donald Trump stepped out, his towering presence unmistakable. Mark's eyes widened, his hand instinctively twitching near his holster. The tension in the air became palpable. "Officer," Trump said in his unmistakable voice, "I don't know what's going on, but I'm on my way to a funeral. This is a misunderstanding." Mark hesitated, glancing at the documents in his hand. The name on the ID and the face before him were an undeniable match. Yet, the weight of his authority and his pride wouldn't let him back down so easily. "Sir, I need you to stay right there while I run these details," Mark said curtly, retreating to his patrol car. Trump sighed, shaking his head. "Unbelievable," he muttered under his breath. Samuel gave him a reassuring look, but the former president's patience was clearly wearing thin. In the patrol car, Mark punched the details into his computer. His stomach sank when everything came back clean. But just as he was about to return to the SUV, a voice crackled through his radio. "Hall, what's your status?" "We've got reports of an armed robbery suspect in a black sedan, not an SUV." Mark's grip tightened on the radio. He had made a mistake. A significant one. As he stepped out of his patrol car, the rain began to fall, its cold drops mirroring the chill running through him. "Sir, you're free to go," Mark said stiffly, avoiding Trump's gaze. But as Trump stepped back into the SUV, he paused, looking Mark squarely in the eye. "You've wasted my time," he said firmly. "Let's hope you learn to think before acting next time." With that, the SUV pulled away, leaving Mark standing in the rain, feeling the weight of his hasty decision. The next morning, Officer Mark Hall's actions were the talk of the precinct. Word of his unnecessary stop had spread quickly, and his superiors were less than pleased. Chief Angela Rodriguez called him into her office, her sharp gaze cutting through him as he stepped inside. "Mark, what were you thinking?" she began. "Do you realize who you pulled over yesterday? This isn't just about a former president. It's about exercising better judgment." Mark shifted uncomfortably, but kept silent. Angela continued, her voice firm. "You're on administrative review. Until we've assessed the situation, you're off patrol duty." Mark nodded, swallowing his frustration. He left her office and returned home, where the weight of his actions began to sink in. His wife, Emily, tried to console him, but even her kind words couldn't erase the nagging feeling of failure. Meanwhile, Trump's team decided not to let the incident slide quietly. A short clip of the stop had been recorded by a passerby and was already circulating online. News outlets picked up the story, framing it as a blatant misuse of authority. Commentators debated the incident, with some calling for better police training and others defending Mark's intentions. The pressure mounted. Mark's phone buzzed incessantly with messages from colleagues, friends, and even strangers. Some were supportive, others were scathing. Emily urged him to stay offline, but curiosity got the better of him. He read the comments, each word cutting deeper than the last. Among the chaos, Trump's spokesperson released a statement. While Mr. Trump was inconvenienced, he believes this incident highlights the importance of police accountability and the need for better training to prevent such mistakes in the future. It was measured, but it only added fuel to the fire. Mark's review was scheduled for the following week. Until then, he was left in a state of limbo, grappling with the fallout of his actions. The world moved on, but for Mark, the days felt endless. The review hearing finally arrived, held in a stark conference room at the precinct. Mark sat at the end of a long table, facing a panel of senior officers, including Chief Rodriguez. They reviewed the incident thoroughly, dissecting every decision he made that day. Officer Hall, one of the panel members, said, "You've been a valued member of this department for over a decade. This incident, while unfortunate, seems to stem from a lapse in judgment rather than malice. However, we need to determine how to proceed." Before the panel could deliver their verdict, the door opened and a surprising figure walked in. It was Donald Trump himself. The room fell silent as he approached the table. "I hope I'm not interrupting," Trump said, his tone lighter than expected. The panel exchanged glances, but gestured for him to speak. "I've had time to think about what happened," Trump began. "And while it was inconvenient, I've also considered the pressure these officers face daily. Mistakes happen. What matters is how we learn from them." He turned to Mark. "Officer Hall, you made an error, but I believe in second chances. Let's use this as an opportunity to improve, not to tear someone down." The panel deliberated briefly before delivering their decision. Mark would retain his position but undergo additional training and a probationary period. Trump's intervention had turned the tide, offering Mark a path to redemption. As Trump left the precinct, Mark approached him hesitantly. "Thank you, sir. I won't forget this." Trump nodded. "Just do better next time." The encounter left Mark with a renewed sense of purpose. He returned to duty with a clearer understanding of his responsibilities, determined to earn back the trust he had nearly lost. The experience, though harrowing, became a turning point in his career and a lesson in humility and accountability. This brings us to the end of the story. Thank you for watching the video to the end. Kindly subscribe for more thrilling stories. Like and share this video. Have a nice day.